Hello, good morning, students. Today we are going to take the first poem, The Heart of the Tree, as our revision. About the poet. The poet Henry Curler Burner was born in Oswego, New York on August 3rd, 1851. He received his education in New York City. He gained a lot of popularity as the editor of the humor magazine called Puck. He wrote many short stories and novels. Among his famous novels are A Woman of Honor, 1883, Eris from Arcady, 1884, In Partnership, 1884, The Midge, 1886. His poetic works are Eris from A Ready and Elsewhere, 1884, Rowan, 1892, and Poems, 1896. His poetry reveals a light play of imagination as also his command over poetic structure. He died on May 11, 1896. In this poem, he describes the innumerable benefits of trees and the shade and shelter they bring to all life. He claims that people who plant trees plan for a future, and for people they do not know. On another level, planting a tree is symbolic to goodness, one from which many other acts of goodness will sprout. Although written over a century ago, the poem is very relevant in an age where rapid and reckless development and urbanization are taking their toll on the environment. The Heart of the Tree, Henry Curler Burner. What does he plant who plants a tree? He plants a friend of sun and sky. He plants the flag of breezes free, the shaft of beauty towering high. He plants a home of heaven and eye, for song and mother, croon of bird, and hushed and happy twilight heard, the treble of heaven's harmony, these things he plants who plants a tree. The poet starts his poem with a refrain. What is a refrain? A refrain is a line which is repeated again and again in a poem. So the first line is the refrain. What does he plant who plants a tree? The poet starts with a question. He starts with a very valid question. What does he plant who plants a tree? A person who's planting a tree, apart from just growing a tree is not just a tree, but it is more than a tree, because when a person plants a tree, what does he plant? So he goes on to answer his own question. He says a person who plants a tree plants a friend of sun and sky. Now, why does he say the plant is a friend of sun and sky? What, the tree is a friend of sun and sky? Because the tree reaches towards the sky. A tree is a friend of cognal atmosphere. The tree reduces the temperature and even purifies the air. It reduces the temperature and purifies the air by trapping dust, pollen and smoke. It ensures free gentle breeze. Thus, it is aptly described as a friend of sun and the sky. That's why he says a person who plants a tree plants a friend of sun and sky. So what does he plant who plants a tree? He plants a friend of sun and sky. He plants the flag of breezes free, the shaft of beauty towering high. Thus, when planting a tree, a person, when he plants a tree, he ensures the free flow of gentle breeze. The breeze will flow freely. Thus, it turns a place around into heaven. Wherever there are trees, there will be life, birds, bees, fresh breeze, insects, rainfall. So the environment wherever the trees are is much different. Imagine you being stuck in a desert where there is no trees, dust everywhere, sunlight, strong wind everywhere. So the importance of a tree is understood when we go to a place where there are no trees, when there is no place to shelter from a tree. What does he plant? Who plants a tree? He plants a friend of sun and sky. He plants a flag of breezes free. The shaft of beauty towering high. The shaft of beauty. He describes the tree as something which is very beautiful and towering high. It reaches towards the sky. He plants a home to heaven on high. For song and mother croon of bird in hushed and happy twilight heard, the treble of heaven's harmony, these things he plants who plants a tree. So by planting a tree, he makes the entire surrounding heavenly. It almost appears as if the place is like a heaven, where birds come and roost in the evening, with a mother bird and the baby bird, they sit down and they sing together in praise of glory and of God. The place where there are green trees is nothing less than heaven. A person who plants a tree also ensures shelter for the birds whose sweet croonings in the silent and happy twilight delights us. We feel happy when we hear the chirping of the birds, the song of the birds. So by planting a tree, the person ensures peace, harmony, and comfort for not only himself but also for others. What does he plant? Again, the poet starts the second stanza. What does he plant? Who plants a tree? He plants cool shade and tender rain, and seed and bud and days to be, and years that fade and flush again. He plants the glory of the plain. He plants the forest's heritage, the harvest of a coming age, the joy that unborn eyes shall see. These things he plants who plants a tree. The poet once again repeats the question, what does he plant who plants a tree? And the answer provided is simple. By planting a tree, we ensure cool shade for us in summer and tender rains in all season. How do we ensure rainfall? We can understand by planting trees we get shade, cool shade. But what about the rain? It's very simple in the context of rainfall. Wherever there is greenery, there is rainfall. Wherever there is rainfall, there is greenery. How come there is rainfall where there is greenery? Because of transpiration. When the leaves transpire, they leave out moisture into the atmosphere. And when the clouds are passing over this region, this moisture is added to the clouds turn heavier and they deposit the rain in the region which is green. So that's how when a poet says that he plants, the person who plants a tree provides rain by planting a tree. By planting a tree, he ensures cold shade for us in summer and tender rain in all seasons, which are essential for our very existence. A tree gives us seeds which sprout and buds which bloom in times to come. The poet describes a tree as the forest's heritage and the harvest of coming age. Forest heritage, a tradition which is carried on forward. A single tree can give us innumerable number of seeds. These innumerable number of seeds can sprout into innumerable plants and trees again, saplings and trees again. So that's why he says it's a forest heritage. A single tree can convert the entire region into a green zone. an area full of trees. It can resemble a forest. It can serve us as a living legacy for the next generation. It provides many benefits in the time to come. It is, in fact, a link between us and our children. That's why it's a heritage. It's a it's a it's something which is passed on from generation to generation. Then again, in the third stanza, he says, again he starts with the same question. That's why I say the first line of the poem, what does he plant, who plants a tree, is a refrain. It's a repetition that goes on and again. So again he puts the same question the third time. He says, what does he plant, who plants a tree? And he goes on to answer his own question. He says, he plants in sap and leaf and wood, in love of home and loyalty, as far-cast thought of civic good, his blessings on the neighborhood, who in the hollow of his hand holds all the growth of all our land, a nation's growth from sea to sea, stirs in his heart, who plants a tree. So again in the third stanza, there are many other benefits of planting a trees. The poet describes the benefits. In the first two stanza also he showed us the benefit, and the third stanza again he emphasizes on the benefit of planting trees. The good values like love and loyalty are planted when one plants and nurtures a tree. Planting a tree also does civic good. You don't just plant tree for your own self. The tree that you plant does not give cool shade only to you, to your family, does not give oxygen, does not convert the carbon dioxide into oxygen only for you and your family, but it is doing civic good. It is doing good for the entire locality that the tree is in. The benefits is for all the neighbors around. The poet emphasizes the fact that the country's growth and development depends upon the wealth of trees. One who plants a tree is conscious of this fact. He is aware of this fact. Therefore he says, who in the hollow of his hand holds all the growth of all our land. That is the reason why he says that. The rhyming scheme of the poem is very rhythmical. It is A, B, B, C, C, A. The rhyming scheme is A, B, A, B, B, C, C, A. The poem is a Spenserian stanza poem. A Spenserian stanza poem is a 9-line stanza. You can just count. There are 9 lines in a stanza. So it's a Spenserian stanza poem. And the refrain sets the tone of the entire poem. Every time the poet says, what does he plant, who plants a tree? So here he is emphasizing the importance of a tree. He is not just a tree that the poet is planting. So the reference sets the tone of the poem. The title of the poem, The Heart of the Tree, is very appropriate, as the poem focuses on the value and utilities of a tree. The poet refers to the heart of the tree, what kind of a heart it possesses. It is kind, generous, and magnanimous. It does not show any discrimination. It blesses all those who take care of it or even who neglect it. There is no difference between the one who has planted the tree, who is watering the tree, who has protected the tree from the animals while it was growing. He does not make any distinction between who has helped him, who has helped the tree to grow or not. It does good to the entire surrounding, entire neighborhood. It blesses all those who take care of it or even those who have not taken care of it. Wherever a tree is planted, it turns the place into heaven. That is why the poet praises one who plants a tree. What does the poet say? He plants a friend of sun and sky. He plants the flag of breezes free, the shaft of beauty towering high. He plants a home to heaven and I. Everything He's planting a home for everything under the sun, under the sky. How is a poem relevant in today's world, in today's contemporary world? Though the poem was written many, many years ago, when there was less concern about ecology and environment. At that time, there were so many trees, there was jungle almost everywhere. Yet, at that time, the poet realized the importance of trees. And today, it is more important because what we see is destruction to the environment, destruction to the forest. The trees are being felled at a great pace. A great number of trees are cut down for widening of roads, for creating dams, for creating open space for cultivation of crops, for creating cities, new townships. It has a profound message for our generation. In our times, forests are being decimated for buildings, houses, roads, and bridges. Trees seem to attract none. Trees are not important for anyone. So the poet draws our attention to what we do when we plant trees. The poet rightly says that the one who plants trees plants many things: beauty, peace, prosperity, good values. He says a nation's growth from sea to sea stirs in his heart who plants a tree. What is a tree symbol of? A tree is a symbol of peace. It is important to note that the tree is used as a symbol of whatever good there is in our life. It is a symbol of peace and prosperity. It ensures rewards of planting even for unborn children, for the generations to come. The form and style and literary device of this poem is very rhythmic. The poem is a lyric. It is relatively short, consisting of only 3 stanzas. Each stanza has 9 lines, called the Spenserian stanza. These 9 lines uses the rhyming scheme ABA, BBCCAA, which is quite intricate. Though it creates a required rhythm and music like a good lyric, it incorporates a single emotion. It appeals to our heart at once. When the poet says, what does he plant who plants a tree? So the appeal is to us. He plants cool shade and tender rain, and seed and bud of days to be, and years that fade and flush again. Some of the figure of speech used in the poem are: number 1 is metaphor. The poet describes the tree metamorphically, as he says, the tree is a friend of sun and sky. He calls the tree the flag of breezes free, the forest's heritage, the harvest of a coming age. So it's a metaphor. What is a metaphor? When you make direct comparison between two different things without using as and like, is a metaphor. So the poet refers to the tree as the friend of sun and sky, the flag of breezes free, the forest heritage, the harvest of the coming age. So all these lines where the poet has compared the trees to something else is a metaphor. Then if we have alliteration, the sounds are repeated in many lines. He says he plants a friend of sun and sky. SS, the sound S of sun and sky is repeated in this line. In hushed and happy twilight heard, the sound of H has been repeated here. So these are alliterations. And years that fade and flush again, the sound F, fade, flush, is repeated. He plants a home of heaven anigh. The sound of H has been repeated here. So when there is a repetition of a sound of an alphabet in a line, we say it is an alliteration. Then he also uses imagery. He gives us the visual image, the shaft of beauty towering high. We can visually imagine the tree as a shaft of beauty that is towering high above the ground. The flag of breeze is free, as if we can see the trees moving like we see the fluttering of a flag. He also used auditory image when he says, for song and mother croon of bird. When we are made to imagine that we can hear the song of the birds. He uses symbol. He uses tree as a symbol of peace, growth, prosperity, goodness, etc. So here, why is the tree described as the friend of sun and sky? The tree is described as a friend of sun and sky because it is reaching, it is stretching towards the sun, it is stretching towards the sky, and in doing so, it cleans the atmosphere of dust, of all the unwanted elements. It brings tender rain, gentle breeze, creates cool shade. That is why the tree is called as the friend of sun and sky. The tree gives shelter to birds by allowing them to build nest. The person who plants a tree makes the surrounding green. The place where there are green trees is nothing short of heaven. Therefore, when the poet says he plants a home to heaven and I means something very similar like heaven. So, trees resemble heavenly objects. The tree creates an atmosphere which is conducive, which is almost at par with heaven. Towards the end of the poem, the poet refers to the longing in the heart of the one who plants a tree. What is this longing? This longing is for the growth, development, and prosperity of the country. He who plants a tree desires peace, harmony, and comfort for himself and others. In fact, he yearns for the ecological, social, and economic benefits of his country. What does the tree ensures us in summer? What do the buds become in the days to come? A tree ensures us cool shade in summer, and the buds will bloom into flowers in the days to come, which might become fruits and yield seeds, which again will help us to grow more trees. How is the tree the glory of the plain? In what way, when the poet says that the tree is the glory of a plain? A tree ensures growth and development of the country. It brings prosperity and richness to the country. It saves the country from pollution. That is why it is the glory of the plain. The plains are the most prosperous regions of a country. The plains are the places where most civilization live. If you plant trees in the plains, it brings glory to the people of the country. Now, what does the poet mean when he says, and years that fade and flush again? How could we explain this line when the poet says, and years that fade and flush again? The poet wants to convey that a tree establishes a link between our present and our future. The tree serves as a living legacy for the next generation. It provides a link between the present, that is us, and the future, that is our children to come. Then, how does a tree become the forest's heritage? The tree becomes a forest heritage because it leaves behind a history that lasts for many years. It reflects a tradition of the past. It serves us as a living legacy for the next generation. It symbolizes the social fabric of the times. What are the benefits of tree planting referred to by the poet in the poem? Some of the benefit that is referred by the poet in the poem is a tree will ensure cool shade for us in summer and tender rains in all season. A tree gives us seeds which sprout and buds which blooms into flowers in times to come. It establishes a link between our present and the future. There are innumerable things which we can say that the poet has said about the trees. A tree planter does civic good by planting a tree. The tree benefits all the neighbors around. It saves the surrounding from pollution. It provides shade to the people in summer. It protects them from the the strong heat of the sun, scorching heat of the sun. When the poet says, who holds all the growth of all the land, which land is the poet referring to? What does the poet have in mind when he says, who holds all the growth of all the land? Which land has the poet in mind? The poet says, a person who plants a tree holds all the growth of his country. The poet here says that by planting a tree, a person shows his patriotism towards his country. He is loyal towards his country because by planting a tree, he is helping his country to prosper. He is contributing into the prosperity of his country. The poet emphasizes the fact that a country's growth and development depends upon its wealth of trees. The planter's country is the land which is in the poet's mind when he says who holds all the growth of the land. So here the planter's country is the land which is in the mind of the poet. Now tell me, do you agree with the poet that a nation's growth depends upon the wealth of trees? If you agree, why do you agree? If you don't agree, then why not? As for me, I agree. Yes, I agree with the poet when the poet says, who holds all the growth of all his land. The person who plants a tree is contributing towards his nation. I agree with that. A nation's growth depends upon the wealth of trees. A tree has ecological, social, and economic benefits. It saves us from pollution. By saving us from pollution, we have a healthy population, healthy mind, and healthy body. If the population is healthy, they contribute in a great way towards the general good of the country. The tree gives us seeds which sprout and buds which bloom into flowers in the times to come. It provides several other benefits to the people. That is why I agree that when the poet says that it is the growth depends upon the trees. The number of trees in a country will say how healthy that country is, how prosperous the country will be. How is the poem relevant at our times? The poem was written hundreds of years ago. But why is it relevant today? What makes it more relevant today is the fact that in our times, forests are being decimated for buildings, for building houses, for building roads, bridges. Trees seem to be of no importance to anyone. Last year, during the summertime, at that time when the coronavirus was not in the news, we had this Bharat Van that was being saved by people living in near Futala Talao. There's a small patch of forest there. The government wanted to cut that forest and make a road linking Futala to Ravinagar. There's already two existing roads, but another road was being made over there. Do you know for what reason? Perhaps for builders to have shops on both sides of the road, where there could be shops on both sides of the road where businessmen would prosper. But the people living there, they had fond memories of this small jungle, and they didn't want the jungle to be sacrificed for another road. So in our time, forests are being cut down for various purposes, and it was good that some of the people are aware, but the civic authorities they are not attracted towards trees because for them the trees don't bring in monetary benefit in the present time. So therefore the poem is relevant in our times because the poet draws our attention to what we do when we plant trees. He rightly says that one who plants trees plants many things: beauty, peace, prosperity, and good values. So, apart from uh, learning this poem for academic purpose, let this poem be a life learning lesson for us. Wherever we are, we should at least plant one tree in our life. Just planting a tree is not enough. We have to ensure that the tree that we have planted grows. Celebrate somebody's birthday, some memorable events by planting a tree. Give a name to the tree. When you give a name to the tree becomes personal to you. You take care of the tree as if he is a member of your family. For a wedding anniversary, for a birthday, for somebody's death anniversary, we can plant a tree and we can nurture the tree, we can take care of the tree. If everybody plants one tree, just imagine the greenery around. We have to have proper space. We have to plant the tree in such a place where there is enough sunlight, where the soil is good. So you have to make an environment conducive for the tree, and the tree, when it grows, it will do the rest for you and for the coming generation. So let's hope this poem gives us enough enthusiasm, enough encouragement to make our environment a better place to live in.